And that's this idea of epigenetic adaptation and how we bring that about. So I'm going to be annoyingly complicated for a second, and then I'll make it simple. So like if you don't like annoyingly complicated, plug your ears and la 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 for a second, but we'll get simple. Epigenetics is the study of how our genome responds to stress. And it's really cool because just because you have the gene for something doesn't mean that that's expressed in you. You actually have the ability to turn on and turn off genes. That's called methylation. When you turn on a gene, your body can turn it on. And when you can turn off a gene, that's called acylation. And we actually know that we can create epigenetic changes in the body through different stressors, right? So on a positive side, hypertrophy, muscles, hypertrophy is the growth of tissue. It's the oversizing, hyper meaning over, trophy meaning growth, the oversizing of muscle tissue. We know that if we do 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions at a moderately high weight of a compound exercise like bench press or lat pull down or leg press, right? We know that if we do that, it will trigger hypertrophy. It will make the muscle grow over time. And there are limits to that, but you can actually take somebody who doesn't have a lot of muscle tissue on them, and after 12 weeks of weight training and adequate nutrition, because you got to feed the beast, you can create muscle growth. That's hypertrophy. What's crazy is you can actually test that person years later, and even if they've stopped training, and even if the muscle tissue has gone back down to its normal dormant size, the epigenetic changes that you created to turn on that muscle growth are still there. And so if you retrain that person, they actually their body works hard, their immune system works hard to rush back to their previous level of fitness with regard to how large their muscles are. And that's why my poor 40-year-old dudes who were like, yeah, I was an athlete back in my 20s, and we're like, okay, great, we're going to start working out. Your first week is going to suck horribly. They're like, oh, it's not a big deal. I used to do way heavier weight. And they're just so sore. Like, yeah, what did you do to my legs? Like this, I don't know why, but this is the kind of text that makes me sleep better at night. Alex, I hate you. I can't sit on the toilet. You suck. But I'm not done. Something like that. Like, sweet. Yeah, and we got another one. We got another one. And that's good because what's happening is their immune system is working hard to adapt them back to what the changes they have already created were. That's epigenetics, right? So I know that was complicated, but now let's boil this down to how this works for both ends of the spectrum. It's really simple, actually. Consistency, volume, and intensity. Consistency of the stressor, the volume of the stressor, and the intensity of the stressor. This is actually where people really get messed up in the fitness world. They try to flip the order. They try to do intensity first and then try to add a little volume and then try to be consistent. That's not how the body adapts. That's not good. It's only going to end in injury and burnout and lack of ability to adapt. It's consistency first. Then you up the ante on how long something is or how many repetitions you do or how much of your day it requires. And then intensity. Intensity is how heavy something is, how little rest you get in between, how much of a thing that you do on top of itself, right? That's intensity. And so that's how I help these individuals create those changes, regardless of what end of the spectrum they're on. We find the 1% that they can actually move forward on, and we get consistent at that. And then with that consistency, we can grow volume. And then with that volume, we can grow intensity. I'll use your example, if you don't mind, of dropping yourself off early so you can get a kilometer in.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that every day this week is consistency. Dropping yourself off 2 stops before, then 1 stop, is volume. Dropping yourself off and jogging for 30 seconds and then walking and then jogging for 30 seconds and then walking, that's intensity, right? So what most people do is like, you know what? I'm out of shape. I want to get in better shape. I heard running's great cardio. Seems to help with the genes. I don't know. Anyway, I read something. So I'm going to drop myself off a stop before and I'm going to run as hard as I can. And that's great. It feels good until 3 days from now when your body, your ligaments and tendons, your brain, everything's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Come on, man. So, so consistency, volume, intensity. That's how we create change that adapts us for the long haul.